After covering 90 Days' controversial and extremely troubling Loren on this channel the past few weeks, it's time to finally spill all the tea that's come out on Loren since the show aired. We're talking an ex-wife, 2 kids and child support allegations, his upcoming fist fight with Adnan, and a slew of incredibly odd and disturbing comments he's made online. But before we dive headfirst into Loren's real-life drama, I wanted to just briefly catch you all up on the single scene that Faith and Loren had last episode. Consider this an appetizer before the main course. So let's get into it. The episode starts with Faith and Loren having finally arrived at their private island destination to enjoy a day in the water and spend some quality time together before they go and meet Faith's family. They get out of the water, Faith goes to put some lotion on, when Loren interrupts and offers to put on her sunscreen for her.
Why don't I do that? Brian, I do things for you all day, every day, forever.
Which maybe for anyone else, I wouldn't think twice about that comment. But knowing Loren's MO and knowing that he's in this place right now with Faith where he's trying to win back Faith's trust, just kind of looks like another example of him trying to make the hotel bed for her, hoping that brute force chivalry will somehow convince Faith to forgive him. And then we get to learn a bit of Faith's backstory. We hear that she left home at the age of 13 to go to Manila and get a job, which was around the same time that her dad died of a heart attack. And now, without a father figure, and while the mother was busy taking care of Faith's 2-year-old twin siblings, the burden of providing and supporting the family fell on Faith and her 2 older siblings. So the 3 kids left home to earn money and send back to the family, with Faith being the only one that went to Manila on her own. That's a tough upbringing, and this story is clearly very difficult for Faith to tell. And of course, because it's Loren, he doesn't have the best response to it all. She's emotional, says it was very hard, but at least she has a purpose, and that everything she does is for her family. And Loren says,
But the fact that you work so hard, right, and you love your family is amazing. It's a great thing about you. I love it.
Which is all great things to say, but something about his delivery here just doesn't feel very authentic to me. Kind of sounds like he's just saying all the things he's supposed to say to buy time and then go, but, and then tell us what he actually wants to say. So anyway, he does that.
I love it, and I want to be a part of that. Help your mom, help your family, get your brothers through school, and I'll do that with you. That's fine. We'll figure it out.
Wow, that is so emotionally manipulative. She just gives him this entire sob story of her life and life's motivations and how hard everything has been for her. She hopes her family is proud of her and everything she does is for them. And Loren hears all that and goes, yeah, we can do it together. I want to do all those same things that you wanted. I want to help your mom and together we'll send your kid siblings through school and we'll support you. Yeah, I'll do it with you. Yeah, me. Fix your problems. Yeah. Given the timing, that just feels like a shitty thing to do. Because when you wait for them to have a sob story for you to present yourself as if you're swooping in to save the day, you're taking advantage of the vulnerable person to prop yourself up and make you seem more important and valuable to them. Maybe that wasn't his intention. Maybe he actually is super altruistic and not completely out for himself. But even then, the timing just wouldn't have advised that.
I want to believe Loren could be this person, but it's still hard for me to trust him.
And then, pushing his luck even further, Loren then changes gear and brings up the whole telling your family I cheated on you thing, and does his best to maybe get Faith to not mention that.
Do you think you're going to tell them what I did?
We'll see. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, it's just, that's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Which, I can't say I blame Loren for trying. I guess if I cheated on my partner and came back home with an STD, I probably wouldn't want them to tell their family about it too. So I guess I can't fault him for trying, but given the timing, the vulnerable context, just gives me major ick vibes that he would wait until this moment to pitch that idea. Feels very self-serving and manipulative to me. Faith considers Loren's offer, but family is really important to her, so is being honest. The same cannot be said for Loren, and the scene ends.
I'm really nervous. Who knows what they're going to think of me after that?
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's finally time to spill all the tea I found on Loren Allen, the real-life person. And trust me, you're going to be surprised. All right, now that that's done, it's time to sleuth the internet. Hey, wait a minute. What's this? James Rush's entire internet history? Oh no, my entire search history, my leaked emails and passwords? How the heck did all my data get online? Well. Looks like you haven't been securing your data with a VPN. A what? A virtual private network. But that sounds so complicated. Can you explain to me the benefits of protecting your internet security with a VPN to me? No. What do you think this is? A segment for today's sponsor, SurfShark? Yeah, no, of course not. That'd be silly. But this is. Now more than ever, it seems like everywhere you go online, someone is trying to steal your data. But what's great about the sponsor of today's video, SurfShark, is that it protects you by encrypting all the data sent between your computer and the internet, so that nobody can get their hands on your precious data. But even more than protecting your data, SurfShark can be used to unlock content that isn't available in your area. I'll give you an example. I did some traveling recently and happened to watch Friends for the first time actually while I was in a hotel, and I liked it and was happy that I found a new TV show to watch back at home while I ate dinner. Only to find out that you can't watch Friends on American Netflix. But because Australian Netflix has Friends, now all I have to do is use Surfshark to change my virtual location to Australia, and bada bing, dinner is saved. Surfshark also has a data breach warning system called Alert that will alert you if any of the data associated with your email addresses, credit cards, or IDs show up online. Things like passwords and phone numbers, and it works 24/7. So if you've been wanting to get a VPN or just waiting for the right time to get protected, now's the time to start. Because right now, you can get 4 extra months free on your plan by going to surfshark.com/rush, or by just clicking the link in the description. And with Surfshark's 30-day money-back guarantee, there's no risk to try it out. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Wow, that sounds like a great deal. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Can you get out of my house now? So the first thing I'll mention is there is a lot of Loren information out there on the internet. Loren is very active on social media, whether it be his Reddit account or his Facebook and Instagram accounts that he frequently goes live on to all of his fans. There's a lot of stuff, and it would be impossible to encapsulate every weird, crazy thing that he said in a single video. But we gotta start somewhere, and I thought the best place would start to be with the AMA he did on Reddit. Or at least I think so, because when you go to his AMA he did, the post is deleted and the moderators say that Loren had been banned. And when asked about it, the moderator said that Loren had been banned for calling white people the devil and making misogynistic comments about female anatomy. Interesting. Let's put a pin in that for now. But while the original post was deleted and several of Loren's comments, many of his original comments still remain. In fact, his account is still active and you could go on his account and search through all of the comments that he's made on public. And because I'm making a video for you all, that's exactly what I did. Chapter 1, the ex-wife. The first thing you'll notice if you go through his profile or check out this AMA is that he talks a lot about how much he hates his ex-wife. My ex-wife is a lazy, dirty glutton who steals from the government. My exes hate my kids and my ex-wife hates me, says I'm bad. If I find a famee willing to adopt us, maybe I'll get custody from my succubus ex-wife. When called out for not wanting to get a higher paying job to support his kids, Loren defended himself by saying, "It's almost like you were there when she made a choice to get pregnant for money," insinuating that the then 16-year-old girl chose to get pregnant with Loren for a lifetime of free money. Okay, so he hates his ex-wife and seems to blame her for a lot of his financial problems. So what's the deal with the ex-wife anyway? According to documents obtained from In Touch Weekly magazine, 90 Day Fiance star Loren Allen was previously married to and divorced from his first wife, Cheyenne Allen Hines. They say they were married in 2011 when Loren was 21 and Cheyenne was just 19, and got married just after the two of them had their first child, and just before they had their second. The two of them were married for 2 years until they filed for divorce in 2013, and the divorce became finalized in 2015. By the way, I know many of us were skeptical on Loren's stated age in the show, but if you do the math here, him being 21 in 2011, that means he's born in 1990, which means that he actually would be 34 years right now. So if these documents are to be believed, he actually isn't lying about his age. Another aspect of their divorce was the custody battle that they had, where the ex-wife, Cheyenne, was granted primary custody, and while Loren was ordered to pay child support. During the messy divorce process, they also sought temporary restraining orders from each other, designed to prevent either party from transferring, removing, or damaging any property, and to restrict changes to insurance policies without mutual consent. Sounds boring, But the restraining orders highlighted the intense and contentious nature of their split, with Cheyenne also alleging that Loren's behavior amounted to willful abandonment of his 2 children. So now, when you read through Loren's Reddit comments and you see that half of them are disparaging comments about his bitch ex-wife trying to steal all of his money, we now understand why. Chapter 2. Loren's Kids. There's a lot of information out there regarding him and whatever child support he may or may not be paying. Obviously, many people are accusing him of being a complete deadbeat, trying to avoid child custody payments, but Loren routinely denies these claims. When asked on his AMA how much his monthly child support is and how often he gets to see his daughter, Loren said, 50% or I go to jail. All of my abusive exes say either you stay away from them or I'm going to beat you, or I'm far away like now. How would a homeless guy get a 14-year-old to Vegas? I should mention, Loren's grammar and spelling is absolutely atrocious. I'm going to be reading off a lot of these comments he makes for anybody who may be just listening to the video instead of watching it along with me. And to give you all the full experience, I'm going to read them as he is writing them. So if it doesn't make any sense, blame Loren. I do pay child support. I think if I'm willing to do anything, then no opportunity will be missed. Is that why your wife is evil? For making you earn money to support your child? He's gotten into several different paragraph-long debates with people who, I'm no expert, but seem to know a lot more about child support than he does. And it seems like all of these people point out that he's actually getting away with paying the absolute bare minimum and he's lucky that he doesn't have to pay more. But a lot of Loren's responses to these points kind of boil down to, I don't call anyone, I just get emails. I have no idea what she does. I just go to work and sleep. You should ask her. I've never been to court or talked to a lawyer. When I got divorced, they said I owed $80,000 day one. So I tried to pay in person. They said no. Then I tried to pay online. They said no. I tried over the phone. Still no. Finally, they just stole it from my check. I feel like I should be reading a bedtime story like this. Being alone and paying child support hard, but I've got big goals, like an enclosed trailer that can fit a bed. He even at one point shared a receipt of his specific child support payments with his full name and case number right there, which obviously I'm gonna blur out, but he didn't. And while it seemed like he did this as proof that he does pay, it also kind of suggests that he's behind on his payments and is in some financial trouble. And I mention all this partially to give some context, but also because there's another big theory that may say a lot about Loren and his values. Loren's mentioned on at least 2 separate occasions that he comes from a rich family, saying that his evil ex-wife won't accept their help and is only after his money in particular. Now, obviously, I can't verify this. At least in my search, I didn't find any other corroborating evidence of him coming from a wealthy family at all. It certainly would surprise me, given everything else we know about him. But keeping that in mind that he's claiming he's coming from a rich family, and there's a popular theory out there that Loren might purposely be working very dead-end jobs or possibly being paid under the table to avoid having to pay any significant amount of child support. And, as the logic goes, if he does come from a rich family, maybe getting some kind of bailout money from them so that he doesn't actually have to get more income, which would then be sent to the kids in child support payments. Now, I want to be clear that there's no way we could know this. Personally, I don't assess him to be someone that is capable of getting higher paying jobs. But he has been noted multiple times from people that watch his Instagram lives that he could be interpreted as bragging about doing exactly that. On his Instagram lives, he brags about avoiding child support payments and is insinuating that he is living a homeless lifestyle strictly in order to evade having to pay. He is not interested in his kids at all. In his Instagram live, he claims that he wants to help people and then talks spitefully about his ex-wife, who wanted to take all of his money and insists that he sees his children. Again, for legal reasons, I have to say that I cannot verify that. I'm just reporting a theory that I read on celebsvulture.com. Chapter 3. Hating the West. Okay, so he hates his ex-wife. He thinks that she is entirely responsible for purposely siphoning off all of his money to spite him. He thinks she's evil and doesn't seem to have a lot of remorse around not wanting to support his kids more. That's at least the opinion I have after having read a lot of his statements. That's already bad enough, but turns out that he also hates America and white people. Personally, I tried pretty hard to find the original white people comments that apparently contributed to Loren getting banned from the subreddit, but unfortunately, I couldn't find an original picture or copy of that statement. However, we do know he hates America. I have lots of Philippines friends, and Philippines speak enough English. There I can live in a small rundown shack peacefully, unlike evil controlling America. So, not surprising, similar stuff we've heard him say on the TV show, that his plan is to basically live homeless and on a rundown shack on a beach somewhere, and he can only do that in the Philippines, not in evil controlling America, where they don't want you to be homeless and live on a shack on the beach. Damn Yankees. Hate is a part of most Americans' lives, and am here to play my part and be here for everyone's needs to hate. Thank you, everyone. Okay, bro. You mean you're an attention whore? I mean, come on, we're not special needs, my guy. No Americans are special needs. I don't need attention. I'm bored and open to talk. No Americans are special needs. I don't know if he's saying that's because Americans are so privileged, none of us can be considered to have special needs, which would be an insanely stupid and ignorant thing to say. Or if he meant to put a comma there and say, no, Americans are special needs. Like, we're all such a corrupt society that we're all disabled. I have no idea what this is supposed to mean. But we also know he did a separate AMA, separate from his 90-Day Fiance one, on r/socialism, which is not a crossover that I think anyone was expecting. I guess he just really likes socialism, or rather, what he thinks socialism is. Because humorously, everyone in that subreddit, who a lot of them didn't even know who this guy even was, also thought everything he said was wrong and full of shit, and that AMA was also banned. But unfortunately, Loren's racial views may not be limited to just America and white people. Because if you go to his Facebook page, which normally I wouldn't check because that feels a little invasive, but he has linked to it and asked people to check it out multiple times. Anyway, if you check out his Facebook, we see this post where Loren is taking a shot at Adnan from Adnan and Tigerlily this season. And he says, if Ali Bibi is a hero, Ali Bibi being, I think, an incredibly racist way to refer to Adnan. If he's a hero, but takes control of lives based on gender, space, then I must stand as an evildoer to keep women's rights? And then with a picture of Pennywise the Clown saying, vote evil Loren, vote to keep women's rights. There's another post from just 12 hours earlier where he calls Adnan a BB this time and insinuates the two of them will have a fight live on the internet. And again, asks everyone to vote evil Abibi for 90-day hell monitor. Oh, so these are the Photoshop skills that he thinks will land him that digital nomad job. But then I found a third post from just a few hours before saying, breaking evil character. Ambuma Limbim challenged me to a battle, claiming his owns Tigerlily, so challenge accepted. Women's rights first. Hashtag women's rights. Hashtag freedom. Hashtag fight. Over a 144p quality photoshopped fight night poster with Adumi versus Bum 90-day women's rights battle. Ambuma Limbim. That's how he's referring to Adnan. And in this process, he has now characterized himself as the hero for women's rights. But along with the very casual racism, before we get off of Facebook, I also wanted to point out this little side quest he's been on, where he face swaps himself with famous people and apparently feels the need to share every single one. We have Spider-Man, Robert Downey Jr., Johnny Depp, some other guy. 16 pictures in this album, by the way. More outrageous nonsense. A gallery of that guy from 90 Day. Him and the Can You See It Falling in the Air Tonight, whatever that song is. Hey, you should be impressed that at 28 or whatever I am that I even know that song. Him as an independent filmmaker, not the murder guy. And I think I love this one the best, where he put his face on 5 different members of this boy band. By the way, this was all from October the 12th. All these examples came in a 1-day span. Right, okay, back on topic. Besides his incessant main character syndrome, he might have a problem with Middle Easterns and likes to portray himself as a defender of women's rights, which is extra funny because if you remember, half of the reason he got banned off of Reddit in the first place is for making misogynistic comments about female anatomy. So, what's all that then? Chapter 4, Sexuality. Brief trigger warning if you don't want to hear about any sex weirdness or, if you're eating some cereal, then, put the spoon down. All right, you ready for this one? Hormones control somewhat of your sweat smells like. Men are disgusting, and cis women vagina get so gross and you're always forcing them to shower. But trans doesn't have a rotting vagina. Rotting vagina. That's how he describes that. Also, they're gross because you always are forcing them to shower. I think you just were dating someone gross. He further elaborates, hormones control how your sweat smells, and so male sweat and men in general are disgusting pigs. So I need a female sweat smell, and there is a difference in taste when your mouth is all over their body. I should have had like a beer or something while I talk about this. I'm a bottom when I'm asked, or I can't get it up for my partner. I just don't like the smell most of the times. Sometimes I daydream of a freshly waxed vagina. I mean this in the nicest and most inoffensive way possible. You are an odd duck, my friend. He clarifies on several occasions that he's definitely not gay because he finds men absolutely repulsive, and says that it's been his dream ever since he was little to be with a trans person, and says it's appealing, but it has nothing to do with sex. It's also a great way to protect myself from more child support. They're, obviously the wrong there, beautiful, and ladyboy is a bad word. Yeah, he says that ladyboy is offensive in America, which I had pointed out, but the producers forced him to use the term, allegedly. Kind of a side point there. So, into trans women, great way to protect yourself from child support. That's the first stated reason he gave about why he liked trans women. No, I very much love vagina. I just don't like bacterial vaginosis. Is a vaginal infection that occurs when the balance of vaginal bacteria is disrupted. So, rotting or smelly vagina. It's funny that you can obviously tell which part of the sentence he copy-pasted, and then goes right back to spelling vagina with two eyes. Funny, considering you're literally the male embodiment of bacterial vaginosis. Also, lastly, if you were curious, his penis is doing good today. Okay, so have we had our fill on the Loren sex stuff? Because I have. And that's more or less wraps up most of what I wanted to talk about regarding the Reddit AMA. Although he then started DMing people after the AMA was banned to continue his conversations. It's more or less the same stuff with him. Bad grammar, blaming America. He sent this person his entire terribly spelled resume for seemingly no reason. I won't be getting into these receipts, but just wanted to mention it. Chapter 5. The Grift. You know, I just realized I'm literally drinking tea as I'm spilling the tea today. I had no idea. After seeing everything so far, I have to ask, why? Why is he doing all this? Why go post all over Reddit and Facebook and go on these Instagram lives and seek all this attention? Why post your direct phone number on your Reddit account and frequently in the comments asking people to interact and call you? Why post where you work and your time schedule, I'm obviously not going to show any of this, in the comments to let everyone in the world know where you're going to be at all times? Why ask for all of this attention? Well, I think a lot of it is just him not being very smart and wanting attention. But besides that, he does have two clear grifts going. And the first is, of course, e-begging for donations on his GoFundMe. Help Loren Allen build an NDA LGBT safe haven. And for some reason, the art he chose looks at first like it's some kind of anime poster, but he must have gotten AI to make this or something, because if you actually look at the faces, they're horribly demented and disturbing. The description reads, NDA. Hello, I'm Loren Allen. I'm starting an LGBT community center in the Philippines and looking for help. Nothing is more important to me than helping others, but I have an evil ex-wife and fights just to make rent, but plan on finding a way to devote my life to charity. NDA. Yeah, I don't know if disparaging your evil ex-wife in the description of your GoFundMe is really advisable to really maximize donations. But that's not the only example we have of Loren looking for a handout. Because yes, he wants money and he wants donations, but you know what he also wants? Loren wants to be just like Big Ed and get on all the TLC shows. I need fan support to get on more shows like Big Ed. If possible, write or help TLC/Sharp Entertainment put me on more shows. I need your support to keep going. Any show you can think of, I'm up for. I'm also writing a novel/video game/comic book, looking for help in an autobiography, and filming a movie/acting. He wants to follow in Big Ed's footsteps as a villain character that everybody hates, but drives so much popularity and attention to the show that the show keeps casting him, and therefore keeps getting money. He also mentions that it would be fun to do some kind of celebrity boxing match, or maybe get paid to be locked in a haunted house for charity, or take a bullet or a boxing wrestling match with someone who could destroy me. So you don't even want to be in a celebrity boxing match, you just want to get pounded by a dude bigger than— wow, that was bad wording. I meant that figuratively. Chapter 6, Loren's anti-hero complex. So what have we learned about Loren in these first 5 chapters? Well, he seems to hold a lot of hatred towards his ex-wife and seems to blame her for his financial problems, despises the American economic system, especially child support, allegedly, though I never found proof of it, hates white people, and may also hold prejudices towards Middle Easterns as well, thinks a lot of vaginas are disgusting and likes to refer to them as rotting, and also thinks men are repulsive. Pretty villainous behavior, right? Well, what makes that even crazier is Loren seems to think that he's actually the good guy in all this. He believes his kids will one day be old enough to stand against the wicked ex-wife and raise to the calling of their dad who fights for justice. He hopes his daughter will team up with him to fight for justice and peace on Earth, which for 0.01 seconds, I forgot that Loren said that, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cute. But then obviously you remember it's Loren and then get depressed again. He says he's a hero for women's rights against the evil aluminum bim or whatever it was. And he even said in one of those DMs I mentioned earlier that he's only choosing to be the bad guy and really just wants to help the world. He even seems to brag about how much of a subordinate he is, saying, "I live my life as a subordinate to those around me. My ex-wife just abused that feature." Which is pretty pathetic. I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because you have some personal issue that makes you have to be subordinate to other people doesn't automatically make you a more moral person. In my experience, the vast majority of the time that someone talks like that, they really just have their own issues and is not a sign that they care or have more empathy than other people. But regardless, Loren clearly has a bit of a hero complex and sees himself as an angel. And this is where it gets really interesting to me. Because although he sees himself as an angel, he also sees all the hate he's getting online. And it seems like he tries to rationalize all that disdain towards him by saying that he's just pretending to be the villain on purpose. I'd much rather be an evil, disgusting villain because if I'm evil, then that means someone else isn't, right? As if to say that because he's the villain, then everyone else gets to be a hero, and he's such a saint that he's gonna take that burden for everyone else. Loren, if you would just own up to being a complete ass and work on yourself, nobody would hate you. Doubling down is not the way to go. To that, Loren says, "I need to be hated, lol. I don't mind because everyone knows me in person knows the truth. I don't work on myself. I don't really want a life like that. Yeah, I don't want a life like that where I have to work on myself and be a better person." And like we saw in that DM from earlier, I am choosing to be the bad guy, but I really do just want to help the world. He also even has his own hate subreddit that he made, 90-Day Loren Hate, where he's the only moderator. He seems to view himself as some sort of misunderstood anti-hero, someone willing to do all the terrible things for the greater good. I don't know what this greater good is. I suppose whatever this LGBT charity thing in the Philippines that he can't run because his bitch ex-wife. Kind of funny that he's so focused on the greater good that he just happens to forget that he has 2 actual children that he could be focusing on financially supporting instead. Regardless, that's the image he seems to be portraying of himself. And as delusional as that clearly is, I think Loren actually believes that. Chapter 7. So who is Loren? Loren has said explicitly that he's trying to play a villain role, as if to make us question the authenticity of the Loren character that we see on the show. But personally, after seeing all this stuff online, I don't think that's true. I think that Loren went into the show being his normal, everyday, delusional, absurd, creepy self, thinking, as he does now, that he's actually a great guy. And then, when the internet hates on him and calls him a villain, only then does he reframe himself as a martyr all along. And although he's taken ownership of the villain title, I think he's just being himself and honest and candid, and it just so happens to be that that's a creepy weirdo. He's absurd, arrogant, selfish, obviously completely delusional, and likely has a room temperature IQ. And even if his plan all along was to just go on a show and make some money, I still can't help but think when I watch the scenes with Loren in the TV show that's Loren. That doesn't feel to me like a character, and it doesn't feel asynchronous from the person that we seem to see online. Chapter 8, Loren the Lolcow. And ultimately, in my final analysis, after looking through all of the Loren content I could stomach, which, you're welcome by the way, this was not how I wanted to spend my day. My final analysis is this. Loren has said in so many words that he would like to follow in Big Ed's footsteps. Be a controversial, hated character that is so good at stirring up drama and attention that the show just has to keep casting him. But unfortunately, I don't think Loren could ever be that. I think his fate looks a lot more similar to someone like Daniel Larson, an infamous internet lolcow. For those of you who don't know what a lolcow is a person that can be milked for lols. People who may be trying to take themselves seriously without their knowledge or when they're not trying to be funny. People like Chris Chan, people like Cyrax, or people like Daniel Larson, a fellow homeless internet lolcow based in Las Vegas, who also kind of looks like Loren. These people are frequently taken advantage of by people online who look after them and may even be responsible for paying their rents and making sure they stay out of greater trouble, but at the implicit cost of being other internet persons' playthings. And that is a future that seems more likely to me than becoming another Big Ed. I don't think he's quite capable enough and understands his predicament enough to be playing the cards well to maximize internet drama and his exposure. I see his naivety and lack of cognitive ability making him a target for internet trolls to milk for laughs. He's already sent out his resume, his phone number, child support case number, where he works, his shift schedule. He's chronically online, posting 24/7, going live all the time. If you know anything about lolcows, then you know he's ticking a lot of boxes right now. It could be that his fate looks more like going down a toxic path of grifting, lying, scamming, and e-begging his way through life, thinking he has all these fans and people in his world that he's providing for and how he's actually a great guy, when really he's just kind of sad. And if there's anything I've learned about Loren while reading all this, is that this really wasn't as fun as I would have hoped it would be. I feel like if I were to make another video like this about him, I would just be making fun of a lolcow. And outside of perhaps a documentarian aspect, I don't feel ethically comfortable with making content designed around ridiculing, punching down, laughing at, and giving more negative attention to someone who I think, like The Truman Show, doesn't quite understand what entertainment value he's bringing. I knew that the character Loren on the TV show has a lot of clear problems and I feel okay calling out bad behavior, but I expected the character to be more relatable as an unlikable person in real life. And understanding now that he may be more like a Chris Chan or a Daniel Larson, even if they're full of bad behavior, which oftentimes a lot of these lolcows are, it doesn't feel right to me to participate in that. So after having done this whole thing, I don't know how morally culpable I am. I don't know if I've been punching down or I'm laughing at someone's expense who may not have all of their mental faculties about them, or if I'm making a mountain out of a molehill and I'm judging him too harshly based off of a limited perception I have from him online. And maybe he's not this horribly unintelligent and incapable mess that I perceive him as. And I'm just pontificating needlessly because it's past midnight at this point and my bedtime tea is making me tired. So I think I should stop talking now. So that's the end of the video. Of course, let me know what you thought about Loren and anything we talked about today, and especially what you think the moral line is with things like lolcows. I imagine about half of my audience has no idea what a lolcow is, and the other half might be like, oh my god, yeah, you're totally right. He is just like Daniel Larson. I don't know, so let me know in the comments. A big thank you to all of you channel members, with an extra special thank you to Nancy Jones for being a producer of this channel. If you'd like to see these videos as soon as I'm done editing them and don't want to wait until Saturday morning when they're posted to see them, then consider becoming a channel member by hitting the join button or clicking the second link in the description below. Another big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SurfShark VPN. Make sure to check them out at surfshark.com/rush or click the first link in the description below. And until next time, I'll see you later.